Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm on today with more of the 31 days of easy peasy painty papers. That's a series for beginners that Bettsy Doodle here on YouTube is posting on the 31 days of January. Now I'm going back to day 21 with this one here. This one's called a dendritic print. And day 21 brief was to use black card and metallic paints. So I used these metallic paints from Poundland. I was very pleased with the results too. So this silver one here, acrylic paint, I'm sure they were only just £1.10. And I think they've got a beautiful sheen to them. So as you can see, this is so easy to do, this style of print, and you don't need any fancy equipment. All you need is 2 bits of cardboard. Now I've used cereal boxes as well, but I've also used this. This is my paint box. This is a box of paints for these kind of paints that I got in B&M. So what you do to get this kind of print is you take your paints and just dot them, just a wee dot all over, whatever colours you want. And of course you would have it on the table, but as you can't see my table, I'm just doing it like this. You would put this on top of it, you'd press it all down to make sure the paint smudges and squidges and stuff, and then you very carefully peel it back slowly, and it would give you two prints like this. And then you just take your print and print it onto the paper. It's as simple as that to get some beautiful results like this. So I think this was one of my favourite days. I would say it probably is my totally favourite days out of any of the ones that I've tried. And this one is the Poundland paints again the metallic antique gold, and I used copper. I got this result. I must have left a wee bit of silver on that card. I didn't wipe it up good enough, but it's still a nice piece. And the last one of the dendritic prints, I've used copper on its own. I love all 3 of those prints. So that was day 21. Day 22, the brief was to use day 1, day 2 and day 3. Day 1 was scrunched up paper technique. Day 2 was applying your paint with a store card. And day 3 was using bubble wrap. So this is my attempt at this. It was a purple card I used, and it has a slight texture. You can see the textures through the silver bits that I'd put on with the store card. The texture comes through. I'm not sure if that's going to pick up in the camera. Don't think it is. But so the silver bits is what I applied paint with a store card, and then the purple and this purple and this neon pink from B&M, I applied them on with scrunched up tissue paper, greaseproof paper, scrunched up greaseproof paper. So I've dotted that all over, And then I got some bubble wrap, and I put the purple bubble wrap print over the top of that. As you can see, I got quite a good bubble wrap effect this time. I got some Happy Mail from Amber Kintyre Crafts, and it was wrapped up in bubble wrap, and I could see that it had better air bubbles than the one I had, because I had been trying my earlier attempts with a padded envelope bubble wrap, and the bubbles didn't seem to be as air filled. So this made a better attempt at that. So that day 23 now is a mixture of day 4, 5 and 9. So day 4 was sponge, day 5 corrugated card, and day 9 was using the fruit net. Now, I got a much better effect with the fruit net this time, and it was from oranges again, and oranges that I bought at the same store. So I don't know why in day 9 I was having trouble getting this effect, but there you go. So this was using my metallic paints again from Poundland, and using the round sponge, this one here, which was part of a cosmetic sponge mix. So I used the sponge, and these gold bits are the sponge, and then the corrugated cardboard. It's really hard to pick it up. Some of this red here, some of it's here, but it's not clear because the net, I done the net over the top of it, and the net pattern is really jumping out much more than the corrugated cardboard one. But I quite like this one. And this is another one of the same, using the sponge again, and the corrugated card, and the fruit net. This was on navy card, where that other one was on grey card. Using the same colours, except I've added the teal metallic paint. Oh, it's called Peacock Green. That one's from Poundland again. Now, next up was day 24, and that was using a combination of day 10, 11 and 14. Day 10 was the paper fan. You just make a paper fan yourself and pat it all over your paper, and it is very effective. So it's fan, sponge. I used this sponge again, and the fork. Now, I like the fork for making textures and patterns. I'll definitely be using the fork again as techniques. This is my next one. It's on a kind of blue paper, and I've used the sponges with this ready mixed paint from B&M. So I sponged on the orange circles first, and then I used the fork a lot with the metallic gold from Poundland, the copper from Poundland, and the white from the B&M set, and I also used the yellow from the B&M set from this one. And that's the paper fan you can see here, and down here's the paper fan. And then we've got a lot of fork marks on this one. Next up is the same, the sponge fork and fan again. This one's very grungy looking. I started off on blue card and I put black circles with this sponge all over, and then I used the neon paints from B&M, neon yellow, neon green and the neon pink. And I used the fork and the fan. You can see the fan there and then there, but most of the marks was made by fork again. And here's another one using the same instruments, but I got a different result. I really like this one. I didn't use this sponge this time. I used one like this, and instead of dabbing it, I just kind of used this blue and this yellow that I also got from B&M, and I mixed in the background like that. I just kind of swirled it all over the paper until I got rid of all the white, and then I took the fork and I forked off some of the paint so that you can see the white underneath the paint, and then on top of the fork marks I used the paper fan. So definitely one of my favourites as well, this one. I'd really like to know which ones are your favourites. So that took us up to day 24. Day 25 I've showed you in my previous video. That was the chalk effect. Day 26 is borders. Day 27's lollipop flowers. Day 28's decorative tapes. Day 29 is note cards. Day 30 is ATCs. So I've got all these to make. So I'll come back in a few days to show you them. But I've got a few more papers to show you just now. I went back to day 11 because I hadn't used didn't do day 11 because that wasn't one of my favourite prints at the time, and I was trying to catch up again. But I seemed to using the day 11 to make the borders on day 26, and I thought that really changed the pattern quite a bit. So I thought I'll have a wee attempt at making a bold pattern. It was to make a bold pattern with a sponge. Now this is quite different from the bold pattern that Dee had made, but it was still done by a sponge. I used this sponge here. Well, obviously this is a clean sponge, and just used the edge to paint bold patterns. And I used this one here to make day 26, which is a border. So you can see how it kind of changes it up a bit, slightly, because as you can see I've drew with a Sharpie pen and outlined it with black, and I've also, if you can see, I've used a stamp, this stamp here. This is a very old stamp that I've had for years. So I used that, and I used my VersaFine Clear ink. So So it gives it a fine pattern over the top of your painty papers. So that's my first border. I might make some more. I don't know which papers I'm going to be using yet. And saying that, I got that Happy Mail from Amber Kintyre Crafts, and I got the bubble wrap that was given a better print. I tried it with bubble wrap itself. This is kind of purples, using the purple and the neon pink from B&M, black from B&M as well. Quite grungy looking. And another kind of grungy looking one as well with the bubble wrap. But it's definitely given clearer circles than the bubble wrap that I had before. And then I thought I would do another one of day 4, which was sponge on its own, the round sponge. Because the attempts I had done before, I had done them on a mount board. So I thought I'd do one on card, so I could use it for something else, cutting up. You can see this sponge here makes perfect dendritic marks. You can see the dendritic marks here. And that's just on a kind of brown card. And using the antique gold from Poundland. And again, I thought I would have another attempt at the fruit net one, seeing my orange net seemed to be giving me a much better print than the previous one. So I've got this on grey card. I've just done the 2 Poundland paints again, the silver one and the antique gold one. Oh, this is really quite a nice one here. So that means the only day that I was missing, apart from the days that I've got to make stuff with the painty papers, is day 12, and that was homemade stamps. You need polystyrene plates or polystyrene food trays for that, and I haven't came across any of them yet, so if I do, I'll give it a try and show you. Right, well, that's me for today. Please join me next time, where I hope to have some of these projects finished to show you. Please give this video a like, talk to me in the comments, and tell me which ones you like the best. Thank you. Bye bye.